Hi there, this is Bonnie McCaffery, and thank you so much for coming back to see me this month. I was on a recent trip to England, and I met up with two different fiber artists, and I think you're going to enjoy meeting them. First, we're going to meet Ferret, who is not your standard quilter. She's young, she rides a motorcycle, and she does sexy nudes. I am here with Ferret, and that is your name, right?
That
Ferret?
is my name,
Yep. And that's what Ferret goes by, just one name, Ferret, kind of like Cher. And I've been lucky enough to be able to see her new piece here in person. It's absolutely wonderful. Tell me about your new piece here. What's it called?
It's called Decadence. It's meant to show the opulence of the female form. You know, the luxury, the softness. It's meant sort of like long file fur and velvet, that kind of feel.
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous, and it's so sexy, and
the idea.
It's gorgeous. And how is it done? How do you come up with the pattern for it?
I have access to a photographer who does a lot of exotic photos, and I have talked to him about what I want, what I'm looking for, what he's looking for. He takes black and white photos of the models, and then I work through them, edit the images. I often tweak the balance a lot because I don't want a lot of detail. I want to give the feel of the woman without it being explicit or being too much actual detail on it.
And your quilting is just incredible. Tell me, how do you just do it?
Yeah, most of this I just do, and it's like how you'd stroke people, how you stroke a baby. You know, you rub them round, you rub back, and that's what it's meant to be. And the softness again, I want that whole decadence feel to it.
Absolutely wonderful. And now you've done a number of different nudes. Tell me about some of your other pieces.
Yeah, I've done one fairly recently, which I'm planning on sending to Houston, or at least entering.
Okay.
And that's a rope with a nude, nude with a rope.
Nude with a rope. Oh yes.
And that's all done in shades of blue. You may have noticed I like working in monochrome. So I try different colours, a slightly different feel.
And I have seen that one, and that one is absolutely beautiful also.
Thank you. Well, I love her, but it seems that the blue is a bit cold for some people. They find it a little bit disturbing.
Interesting. Wow.
I think it's rather elegant.
Absolutely, I think so too.
Yeah.
And there's another piece that is in the shop here that I get to see, and you're quilting there. The center there, you said that's a design that you do. And
it's peacock feathers. And you've seen a lot of long armors, they do these big, soft, curly feathers. And whilst I'm very good with the curvy women, curvy feathers don't suit me. Don't get on with them. So I'm doing a lot of the peacock feathers. I've just done a piece called My Fat Quarter of Paradise, and I've done those all over it, thinking of bird of paradise feathers, very long, exotic
absolutely
feathers.
Wonderful.
It's a really nice fill when you see it all over a quilt.
Yeah,
it gives a lot of texture.
It is a lot of texture. So, and you do machine quilting for other people,
I do,
hear?
yeah.
And you also teach?
Yep.
So what are some of the classes that you teach?
I do a machine quilting class, I do art quilts, I teach the sort of techniques I used on my new trip dish that was at Birmingham. I try and encourage students to do something different. So, you know, I'm the one teaching the rebel quilting, saying don't bring a ruler, use your rotary cutter to cut curves. Causing trouble.
Causing trouble, and we love that. Well, thank you so much, Ferret, and I'm so glad I got to see this piece in person because she is just gorgeous.
Thank you very much.
I am here with Maggie Farmer, who is another of the English quilters here, and I think you're in for a real treat because we're going to get to take a look at some of her quilts here. And this is a really nice one here. Tell me about this quilt here.
This one was made as a challenge quilt, and it was made for a challenge on the number 5. So it starts off with a Roman 5 down there, and every other piece in it is in a V shape of a Roman 5. And I think it looks like bubbles coming out of a champagne bottle.
Yeah.
Or fireworks.
It does. It's a really fun piece, and even the label is in the shape of a 5.
Yeah.
And then an octagon, which is 5 sides.
Well, it was when I was at school.
All right.
Now this one was started because I'd done a small one, and the small one was okay, but I thought I'd try a bigger one on a traditionally pieced background and see what happened when I was appliquing it.
Oh, the pumpkins. This is a fun piece.
Well, this one had hours and hours of work in it, and it's got virtually every technique known to man, I think.
It does. You know what I think is interesting is that you combine machine quilting and hand quilting and hand stitching and...
Well, the machine quilting wasn't enough on it, but you can't... It wasn't a piece that wanted a very, very definite machine quilted background. whereas the hand stippling gives it the effect of soil. Because I thought this fabric looked as though it was, soil. And then all of these have got virtually every kind of embroidery, dyed fabric, enough curved seams. I think that one's actually markled.
What's markled?
It's those oil paint sticks.
Ah.
So if you put a piece of freezer paper down and you put your markle on the freezer paper and just brush it off with a toothbrush, you get this lovely sort of mushy colour.
A nice shading. Yeah,
so
interesting.
That's good fun.
In case we
So this one was taken from a picture of a ginger plant in a garden magazine.
Wow. That's quite an interpretation of a ginger plant. I didn't know that they were purple and green.
Well, no, and I didn't actually know the background was bright red, but never mind.
Yeah.
That's the only colour that went with it. It was a workshop with Carol Breyer-Fallis, and it's her piecing method. And we were going through the colour variations, and I just happened to like purple, and I found that the yellow and chartreuse just went with it brilliantly.
Yeah. Ah, this is a gorgeous piece of fabric.
This was a piece of Heidi Stoll-Weber fabric that I found at the NEC in Birmingham. And when I looked at it closely, I found that I'd got a face, and I'd almost got this headdress marked on the fabric.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he just grew from that, and he's almost sort of, I feel that he's the spirit of the dawn.
Oh,
I don't know why, but that's just how it came over to me. And so he had to be sort of over quilted, and the beading was just great fun. I think I just got carried away on the beading.
I love the beading. Wow, this is a neat piece. Lots of quilting. Oh my gosh, it's a ton of quilting on here.
Well, this was all done with the feed dogs up, and that was called Gondolas in Winter, because I just thought it was such a wintry feel to the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's great.
And this one is a drafting exercise that went wrong.
It looks right to me.
It went very wrong. It wasn't supposed to be like this, but it worked very well. And the colours, I had to make a positive decision as what would be orange and what would be blue, and which ones would be orange and blue.
Right. Uh-huh.
But they've all got exactly the same red piece in the middle, so I have kept with the tradition of log cabin.
Yeah.
Well, this one was started again in a class, and it's dancing tulips because it started with a drawing of a tulip.
Yeah.
And they look to me as though they're dancing in the breeze.
And the colors are just gorgeous. And you were telling me about the thread that you used to satin stitch this.
Well, I'm a great fan of the Oliver Twist threads, and especially their silk machine threads, because I think they give you the most gorgeous colour down there.
Oh, Maggie, thank you so much for sharing these with us, and I know that our viewers are really thrilled to see some of the work of another of the English quilters that is over here. Absolutely wonderful to see these in person. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you'll come back next month to see what I have in store for you then. Thanks for being with me.
Should be exciting.
It will be.